Story of my life. I'm seated with this 12-year-old child and she's studying with her mom. And her mom goes, "Hey, Nella, what do you want to be in future?" Nella says, "I want to be a fashion designer." And I was like, "Hey, you won't say you want to be a minister. You say you want to be a fashion designer. Look at you. You're not serious with your book. They begin here." And she's like, and I'm like, wow. And she knows I'm a fashion designer, so I'm like, "Aunt, can you just give me some respect? Like, at least not in front of me. Come on." You may feel like it's a lame thing pretty girls do until you get into pattern drafting, which is one method of dressmaking. So today I'm going to talk about dressmaking. Now I'm talking about designing, because I won't go through the design process, but basically it's an inspiration or a need, yeah. Then you put together your mood board, all of that, and then you come up with a design. Once your design is available and you have a sketch of it, that's where we would now go three different ways. There is freehand cutting, there is pattern drafting, and there is draping. So freehand, this is what your seamstress probably does. She takes your measurements depending on the design of it, and then she takes the fabric, and then she takes the fabric, yeah, which you probably brought. That's how it works in Cameroon, or you asked her to get. And then based on your measurements, she's going to do some mathematics and come up with some shapes on the fabric based on your measurements with a piece of chalk, very tiny chalk I have here, yeah. And then she will draw out patterns that is part of the general design, and she will draw them out like this. So you have the chalk marking and all of the pieces, the sleeves. Let's say what I'm wearing is a top. I just want to sit upright a little so you can see it. It's a top, so she's going to come up with the neckline, the armhole like this, and then this little peplum I have here, and then she'll cut it out, cut, and then she's going to use that to sew them together. Basically, pattern drafting, you don't just go straight to your piece of fabric and start off the cutting. You have the person's measurements, and then you would create a block of the person. Call it a flat of the person. You see me, I'm in 3D, but you need to transform my body into a flat piece of something. And we do that with a set of instructions. And then you will come up with something like that. Yeah, you will come up with something like that on an A1 piece of brown paper. Yeah. And when you come up with that, we have this tracing papers we call them vellum paper. Not everybody uses this, like I don't use this, but they help you can just trace out the pattern. So this is a size 12, and it is me. This is me. So this is me on a block. Once you have the block, you have it on an A1. Usually blocks exist in the front and back. You will look at your design, the initial sketch, and then you will break down. You will do the pattern breakdown. Pattern breakdown is basically breaking down the patterns into the various pieces that exist. Once you have the pattern breakdown, that will help you to get your style lines. Okay, style lines, that's what will be understood by a fashion designer, but basically the style lines will be drawn in there, and once the style lines are drawn, they will do all of the things that happen, like the contouring and all of that shaping that takes place. For example, what I'm wearing, you see there is a shaping at the bust area, and it's not just like a piece of paper dropping down. How do you achieve this? That is what contouring and shaping, contouring, which is basically shaping, achieves for you. At the end of the day, after drawing the style lines, you're going to have patterns, several patterns, which you will cut out like this with the scissors. You will cut out. So these are several patterns of a dress. Laying out is a very important part of the process, because this is where you get to manage if you think about producing 5,000 dresses, then you would know that you can't just cut anyhow. You need to be able to maximize the fabric available how do you get those lines to meet? Have you seen those shirts? The lines meet exactly at the same point. You don't achieve that without pattern drafting. Freehand doesn't do that. In most places, I haven't quite seen that in Cameroon, but in most places, you get industrial patterns. Anybody who picks up that will be able to produce the design that this is for, and that goes with sizing. So at that point, you need, not anybody can pick up that pattern and create them. The person needs to understand grading, which is like taking it from one size to another. This is a size 12. What if I wanted to take it from a size 12 to a size 14? That's the process of grading, and you need to understand the patterns, which part meets with which part. There are marks that indicate that. If you don't understand that, it's going to be useless to you, but that is how it works. And there is dripping. Okay, because of what I have here, I'm not going to get into details of dripping, but with dripping you don't need all of this paper. With dripping you need a form, a person like me, well, not actually a person, but a form of a person on which you can build the clothing. With dripping you use material which is made for that, and then you create the clothing on the person. You take them off, and then you come back to these points. So what drapey achieves is that, remember I told you about there is a part where I'm trying to achieve this block. With drapey you bypass this. All you need to do is just to come back to paper and trace out from those patterns, right, that were in the material, were in the fabric that was used. You trace them out and then you cut them out, so you will still arrive at this. Why will you pick one of these methods over the other? Now, as much as freehand is doing amazing stuff, and the interesting thing is that pieces that are typical of Africa, like the kaba and slit of Ghana, the kaba of Cameroon, the agbada of Nigeria, those kind of pieces, if you look at them, you see that you can really achieve them to a great extent without pattern drafting. Now, pattern drafting will help you to get into that piece and become and do magic. Like, I call pattern drafting magic because it gives you, it's like you have this person on a table and you can create whatever it is. Now, it has some challenges because once it's on that paper, you cannot be certain of how good it's going to look, and that is why often there will be a test fit. Now, with top-notch designing, there is usually a test fit. So the individual, for example, of the people you watch on red carpet, like the Met Gala that just passed, they had a lot of fittings. Like, I watched some videos and there were a lot of fittings they did for them to get into those amazing and sometimes crazy pieces. Yeah, a lot of fitting because you need to be able to try it on. But now the thing with draping, you see, draping has an edge at that level over pattern drafting, because draping has draping, you're working on a body form, so already you can see how the final thing would look like. For pattern, you are on this and you really don't know. For freehand, a lot of guesswork. And that was it for today's video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, share with someone. I love you. Bye.